Hi there. I hope you're well. I am Hiramoni and welcome to Get Set Global. When a baby is born, the first announcement we hear is the arrival of a girl or a boy. And the process is as universal as it gets. And that assignment dictates rest of our lives. And most of us never question our gender, but for some people, their gender evolves differently and they don't fit in the rigid traditions of traditional notions of male and female. But that should have nothing to do with whether they can have their fundamental rights or not. But for trans people, the transgender community, they are still fighting for their fundamental rights, even in today's time and age. And they face discrimination, violence, humiliation, and sometimes life threats too. 4 in 10 trans people, they attempt to commit suicide in their lifetime. And depression rates are also higher in the community. I am talking about trans people, the transgender community, because that's the topic of discussion for today's show. And I feel privileged to have a panel of guests who have shown the courage to stand up and talk for and on behalf of trans people and discuss how they can have or they can leave behind a life of marginalization. So it is my absolute pleasure to invite and introduce my panel of guests for today's show. So my first guest is Janvi Borkakoti. Hi, Janvi. I think you need to unmute yourself. Lovely, lovely to have you here. Let me get the other two guests as well. My next guest is, okay, yeah, that's better. My next guest is Abhishruti Bezbaruah. Hi, Abhishruti.
Hi.
Namaskar. Lovely to have you here. And my third guest is Mitra Phukan. Hello, Mitra Vaidya. Lovely to have you here too.
Hi. Lovely to
Yeah.
be here.
Awesome. Brilliant. So, yeah, thank you so much to each one of you. Let me introduce you all and then get into the discussion. So, if I start with Janvi, so Janvi Borkakoti, she is a Delhi based trans woman and she works for a European IT firm. She hails from Assam, but she has been living in Delhi since I think over last 10 years. She travels the world for work and she plans to work from her London office once the COVID restrictions are eased out. And I just got to know, she didn't tell me that she has also won the Prague Prerona Award 2021. So that's splendid, Jahnavi. Abhishruti Bezbaruah, I don't think I need to introduce Abhishruti. People know her as a popular and accomplished singer, and she has won awards, many awards, like the Best Female Debut Singer from Assam, and also the Young Talent Award from Northeast, I think, by the Ministry of Culture. She has been bestowed with many titles as well, like the Swarankur and Swaratna Star Singer of Ajmer. And she has been featured by many magazines like Outlook and Harper's Bazaar, and also prestigious newspapers like the Telegraph, Times of India, and many more. And for those who don't know, she's also a trained Bharatnatyam dancer. So that's Abhishruti. And we have got Mitra Vaidya, Mitra Phukan. She's a writer, a translator, and also a columnist. And she does all her writing in English. She has written 4 children's books, 1 biography, and also 2 novels as well. And her works have been translated into several languages and are taught in colleges and universities. So thank you once again to all of you. So, Abhishruti, you just launched or released your new song, Ore Raati, just a while back. And the song is about embracing gender identity. And also, I think it talks about the struggles of a trans woman. So that's wonderful. What I wanted to do is I have got a short video of the making of the video and the song. Shall we just quickly play that and then, yeah? Okay, let me try and do that. Great.
Ore Raati jo lukhiyo bedona, usupe mon dekhi janai jato na. Ore Raati jo lukhiyo bedona, usupe mon dekhi janai jato na. Heyuji populu hotenu bisai herale prithibi hunani
Lovely. That's really impressive. Really, it is, because obviously it's a song with a message and all of that. But I think the tune is so upbeat, you almost feel like, moving and shake a leg. It's really well done. Obviously, congrats on that. And
Thank you.
I think Janvi is also featured in the video, so that's even wonderful. So we'll talk more about how you met her and all of that. But I want to start from Janvi. So Janvi, you said that you're Yuvraj, and you said you were never Yuvraj, you were always Janvi. So what was that age when you started to feel that I have never been Yuvraj, but I'm always Janvi? What age did you start feeling that?
Hi everyone. I guess I don't have the right age. I think it was a process. But then what I remember is since I was a child, I I would not do the things that a typical guy would do. I was not into cricket, for example. I used to hate cricket, and I could see that all my cousins, all the guys, technically are into cricket, especially Indian boys, right? And also in Assam, a lot of guys are mad about cricket. I never was. I thought something, but that's my childhood. That's how I grew up. I was feminine. And also, one thing uh, that stood out was I was always interested in men and not women. And that was since, I guess, when I was in standard 2 or 3. Uh, I think it was quite early on for me then.
Okay, so you were as young as 2 to 3 years old. Now,
No, standard. I said standard, not the
Got
age.
you. Sure.
Class 2 or
Okay.
3.
Class 2 or class 3. So I want you to make people understand this, that when you felt that I'm not Yuvraj, I am Janvi, and I always like men, not or men, not girl, boy or girl. What was that feeling like? How did it feel?
I think it's more to do with your own self. I felt like a girl myself, and then technically, you know, uh,
Sure.
I liked men, and then I would love to dress up as a girl, and that's since childhood. My mom, my grandmom, they're all aware of it. I mean, they thought I'll get over it when I grow up, but then I definitely didn't. So,
All right. What did you do when this feeling was so constant and you knew that, this is going on for a long time, and you must have then come out and told your family? Was it your mom, dad? What did you do then?
well, uh, yeah, I think I came out, but then, there was also this confusion of, I mean, I technically thought I was gay because that's how the world also projected me as that. Okay, I'm gay. This guy is gay. Uh, but this is definitely not gay. Gay men are different, and being a
I,
woman, being trapped in a different body is different. So I came out to my sister and her then boyfriend. So those are two people I came out to almost 12, 13 years back. And my sister was not positive. I mean, she was in shock. I mean, she did not disapprove, but then she was in shock. So that's how
All
it was.
right. Wow. So she was shocked because she didn't have much clue before that this is something like this will come up probably. But what happened to your parents, your mother, your father? Were they fine when they got to know?
Uh, I I lost my dad quite early
Okay.
on, like at a very young age. So dad has not experienced all of this. But my mom was, I mean, she was in shock too. I did not tell her myself, like personally, because I was in Delhi. My sister was in Delhi, so that's how I came out to her. Uh, but then I was also not going to Assam then a lot. So the proximity to my parents was very less. It was just through phone calls. So I did not obviously tell her on a phone call, but then she got to know with gradual events. My sister told her all of that. So she was in shock too.
All right. I think it sounds like because you were far away, you were in Delhi, probably that was a positive thing because you didn't have to face them every day. So sounds like that's probably worked in your favor. Um, yeah, that's good. No, thank you, Janvi. I really appreciate because these are personal, and these are intimate information. So you have shared. Thank you for that. So I think what you are saying, and please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So you have always been who you are. It's not that when you came out, it is something changed in you. It's just when now you have gone out, the people who are listening to you, it's their willingness to see you who you have always been, isn't it? That's what it is that you're trying to tell. All right, fantastic. Thank you. I'm going to come to Abhishruti now. So, Abhishruti, your song, obviously, Ore Raati, and we just explained. And if I'm not wrong, I think you had been thinking about this song for a while before it all came together. And I feel that when a song has got such a big purpose and an important message to convey, it needs a lot of effort and time and all of that, and also conviction because you always knew that this song may not be for everybody, but you still went ahead and did the song anyways. So you must feel strongly about the subject matter, isn't it?
Um, I do. I do feel very strongly, and I feel very disturbed when our preconceived notions hamper people's growth, hampers a person's growth. So, whatever the social construct is, and if people are different, we are not embraced by our society. So that always disturbed me. And even when you are traveling and if you see slightly different looking people, the vision is different, your thought process immediately is different, you are judging before knowing a person first. So that used to disturb me a lot. I mean, we are living in a society where when a person is probably walking up to us, we already make up few things in our mind. We are constantly judging people, and that was one thing that always disturbed me. And when I came to Ore Raati, I have been trying to study this subject, study the transgender community, talk to people in the community in Assam, and also know about their struggles, their journeys, because each one's is very, very unique and each one's is very personal. So, definitely, I wanted to share the message with my viewers, the listeners who listen to my music, that we must embrace a human being as they are, regardless of their gender identity. We are all human beings. So why do we have to differentiate? Why do we have to marginalize people? The respect must be given to each one equally.
Uh, Really well said, Abhishruti. Absolutely, because I can only feel your words, what you're saying, and I think also when someone is excluded because of, like you said, because of how they look, or maybe gender preference, or for that matter, color of the skin, those
Anything.
discrimination needs attention. And I think song is such a brilliant vehicle to kind of convey that message. I'll come to this song once more, but before that, let me go to Mitra Baidu. um, so Mitra Baidu, you have written and spoken about the transgender community, and you'd probably agree that we have moved on in terms of accepting and also awareness about the subject. Say, I mean, what it was maybe 5 years back, but there is still a lot of confusion. People get confused. I have also heard people saying this, and I think this is purely born out of ignorance or not understanding that if a person has, coming out is such a problematic and they have to face so many things, why they want to come out, why they want to go through that process. So I just want you to explain and also probably, take away some of those confusion.
Yeah. So yes, my writing about I'm a writer. So the reason I write about anything I see around me is that I want to understand. Writing is a process through which we can also understand. Um, so yes, when I went to Abhishruti's song launch, and it really moved me. It's a beautiful, as a song, it's beautiful. The message is beautiful. The story is beautiful. So I was inspired to write. In any case, I have been reading, and I've found that there's not much material. At least I couldn't access much material on transgenders. Yes, gays, lesbians, definitely. But so that I feel is a gap, which should be filled. It should be filled not by people like me, but like from people like you, Janvi, because you are within. So you know the nuances. I will not know the nuances, no matter how hard I try. It's a question of empathy, no doubt. It's a question of understanding, no doubt, but you have lived it. So I feel that this is something that must happen as soon as possible. And the other thing is that, yes, you're right. A lot of awareness is coming. When I was young, much younger, this awareness was not there. And now, yes, people are gradually, but at least in Assam, and Abhishruti, you can, I think, corroborate this, people are not really aware of all the various segments, I would say, of gender identity, how we come out, how we cope with this, how we deal with this. And the question of why, it is a painful process, no doubt, but from what I have read. It's a very painful process. And I would think that why people are going through this, correct me if I'm wrong, Janavi, is because the pain of going through the physical changes, the physical medical aspects, will even then be less than the pain of the mind, the pain of the emotions, when you are not connecting your mind to your body, your how your emotions to your how you feel, your lens, the male gaze, the female gaze, all of that comes into play. And I'm sure, all these things are so disturbing that people are willing, the huge expense and the huge physical pain that people go through and the changes that come, which you have to adapt to. So this is the thing, I think the lesson that we should learn is that this is such it must be a traumatic process to go through this entire process. But even then, people are coming forward and doing this. So the mental trauma must be so much more that when you are balancing on the scale, this weighs out, this wins out. That yes, I will do this so that I can be myself. My body and mind can be aligned together.
Thank you, Baidu. I think you have really explained that well. And obviously, Janvi will her own viewpoint, and I'm coming to Janvi anyways. But this is what I'm understanding from you, Mitra Baidu, that hiding who you are is a huge. It's a big struggle. I mean,
Painful. Very
yeah,
painful.
very
Yeah.
painful. And it's then the person decide, and also probably not everyone comes out, because it's a personal choice then, isn't it, decision whether you want to come out and face the world or live like that. But I think what we are talking here is, if someone has come out, then respect and appreciate that decision of that personal decision. So that's what you have said, I think. But
Yeah.
Janvi, if you have got more to add, please do. But I also want to know, I think I'll just mute this. I also want to know about your day-to-day life, in terms of, you have a social life, you have got friends and colleagues, and you have got your hobby classes and all of that. Um, how has it been? Has your life experience changed since the time you have come out?
Well, no, not really, not to a large extent. Uh, I've been lucky to be amongst good people, I would say, who understands. And and as a person, what I do also is, if I don't connect with someone at the first instance, I try and maintain a distance. So I don't get into that relationship, be it whosoever. Uh, and I know myself, the people I want to be with. And so that helps me, because I'm a social person, but then very conscious about who I make friends with. So that ways, uh, I kind of sort that equation very easily. So it's not been a challenge for me socially.
Okay, so that's really good to hear. But for those, you would know that there are trans people who probably do face a lot of things every day. Are there support groups for trans people, like in India or even in Assam, um, where there are like-minded people that can go, and have you got enough support groups?
I guess in Delhi there are there are support groups, but then they are all in silos. It's like not many people know about it. But I guess now with the onset of social media marketing and all of that, this should come out very soon. And in Guwahati also, I'm not sure about the Assam, but for Guwahati, I know uh, there are support groups coming up very soon by people from the community that I know of.
Hmm. And these support groups are designed to do what? To
To support, I think, to help people in the entire process of, be it mental, physical, economical
Okay,
issues. Yes. I
all
mean, it's
right.
a discussion group eventually. So what people will do is get together as a group and discuss each other's lives, share learnings, share
Yeah.
best practices, share successes, share failures. So I think that's what a support group is all about.
Okay, so it's more also about building confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, of
Because yeah,
course.
cool.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
yeah. I know, because some people. I think it's also got to do with individuals, right? I am someone who is. I don't need to depend on a support group for that matter to get determined or to be, to have positivity, to have like a positive aspect to whatever I want to do. But then there are also a lot of people who need that support. So I think support groups are necessary.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fantastic. All right. Okay. Thank you, Janvi. Um, Abhishruti. Yeah. So let me unmute you first. Yeah, brilliant. So
Yeah.
we are still talking about the song Ore Raati, and I now actually want to know how all the elements came together, because the lyrics is done so beautifully, and you have said you have done a lot of research. I'm sure that you had to spend a lot of time doing that. Then the composition and the video is done very well. So how you met Janvi, because she was featured as well. And now that the song is out, what do you want the song to do?
So this is my very first composition, Ore Raati, and this was composed way back in 2006, and it is 2021 now. So this has been a song that has been very close to me, the composition, And then I approached Kalpana Bhuya Baidu to pen these lyrics in a very simple way so that, anybody and everybody could understand what this song is going to address. And the music has been beautifully done by Anupam Kaur, and I very consciously chose a very happy and upbeat song because that's exactly what I wanted to celebrate always. I wanted to celebrate humanity, I wanted to celebrate love, and I wanted to celebrate everybody, including the transgender community. I have been seeing a lot of videos where there's a lot of, the dark aspect is shown, and it's really sad. At the end of the day, you'll probably get very teary-eyed. Well, that's also a beautiful way of depicting art. But I felt as an artist, I must contribute and I must give in some, I must throw in some kind of positivity, And hence I chose this very, foot tapping kind of rhythm with the ukulele, which you can hear, which brings about the quirkiness in the song. That's how the whole composition and the audio part came about. And then I also fused the Naga instrument in this, which is called a bam hum. And that is in the second interlude, if you can hear, when Janvi is actually going out to burn her photographs. So, so there's a wind instrument, a wood instrument. So that's what I fused into this composition. When it came to the video, I have been struggling to do this video actually since 2017. This song got released in my album Abhishruti in 2017. However, I was not able to produce a video because I was not getting the right contacts, because I was very clear from day one that I wanted to address the transgender community. I had spoken to various people and, various concepts also came about. But at the end of the day, somewhere this concept always stuck with me. And I was very convinced that I will do it. So I waited. Each year I would plan, and I always wanted to release this song around 15th of August because, this is about liberation and independence. But this happened because stars were not aligned at that point in time. But then during COVID, I was actually like a blessing because that's when I had the time to connect with various people. And I happened to meet Milind Datta, who is a trans man based out of Guwahati, but he's also based out of Minnesota. And he was here around that time. And I happened to connect with him, and then we just clicked. So Milind connected me with various people in Guwahati, in Tezpur, all around Assam, and I happened to speak with them. People, a girl from Karimganj, many people. I spoke with them. They also gave me their time, so I'm so thankful to them. And I happened to meet Janvi because I saw a picture of Janvi. My mother-in-law was showing me a picture that, look at Janvi, And then I was like, okay, let me have a look. And then she told me Janvi's story. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to get in touch with her because this is I don't need an actor, in my music video. I need her because it's going to be about her story. So then through Biju Auntie, I connected with Janvi, and then we discussed the concept and, what all we wanted to include, because I realized there are so many things, but in a 4-minute song, I could only, address a few pointers. So whatever I could, like an average, like 1, 2, 3, I asked everyone if you had to say 3 things, or you given a platform, what would you say? So the 3 things are these, what was shown in the video, about the bathrooms, the gender neutral bathrooms, about acceptance, in your family, that the family must embrace you. That is number 1 point, which everyone spoke about, that, family acceptance is the most important. And people who have come out, I have realized they don't care. Janvi can definitely say that. She's like, I don't care about what other people have to say. My family, my Aitama, or my mama, embraces me the way I am. So I needed Janvi, then we jammed on our script, and that's how she came on board. And then we had Molaya Goswami auntie who played Janvi's mum in the music video. And then we had a fictional character which is only in Janvi's mind, through which we try to depict society. And that character is Rongmon, who follows her everywhere. And she kind of, burns her past and moves on. But the most primary thing that we realized through this that, family acceptance is very, very crucial and it's primary. So education has to begin at home, and we have to educate everybody, and that begins at home. And the first encounter of gender dysphoria also begins at home. Your parents are the first people who witness what is going on in your child, So everything begins at home. And
Awesome.
in a given society like ours, we are always worried what the society will say. Eoloke ki kobo? Mor hahue ki kobo? Ba mor nonode ki kobo? But we have to realize that it's our child first. So that's how the entire song came about, and the product is in front of you. And what I want to say through this is that we must embrace, we must empower, and we must educate ourselves as well. That's what I want to say.
Beautiful. And I was thinking that when you picked up, it's a wrong word, picked up, but when you chose Janvi for the video, she is so empowered, and that's the message you are trying to tell. So it was such a good choice, I think, to pick, to choose Janvi as well for the song. And I have also felt that with the song, when you have such a strong message, it does a great job, because with music, you had got the lyrics, so people are following the story, and you have got this upbeat music, like you said, that's what you wanted to do, and it really comes true, this song. You really want to dance. And it just, I think, creates that memory in your mind, so when you listen to the song, you remember the story, and you also remember the rhythm, the tune. So I think that's why I think song is called as like the perfect partner for social change, and really well done. Now, because we are talking about the song so much, how do you feel about singing a little bit of Ore Raati?
Definitely, I can sing. Janvi, will you sing with me? She's heard it like zillion times by now.
Would love that if that happens.
I can try. Yeah, I can try.
Yeah,
Go
we can
ahead.
do that. No, together we can jam.
Mhm.
So here it goes. Ore Raati jolukiya bedona Usupe mon dekhi janai jatona Hiuchi hopun gotenu bisaru herale prithibi hunali rangbur hey Kiri nori le kote no lokale khanti julia ko pohali Ore Raati jolukiya bedona Usupe mon dekhi janai jatona
No, that's lovely, splendid. Absolutely, it is. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Janvi.
much. Yeah, she played along well.
Welcome.
Awesome, brilliant. Mitra, by the let me first unmute you. Um, so, because there are people who like to follow traditional thought processes, people who believe in God. So they also sometimes believe that God sends us to this world either as a girl or a boy. So anyone who wants to be different from that is almost going against God, which is not seen as a good thing. How do you untangle that kind of thought process?
Yes, that is, of course, a very complex issue because there are several religions where it is specifically said that unless you are male or female, I mean, you have to fit into these slots, man or woman. So how do you and I don't really blame the really religious people because they go by the book. They go by the for them it is a deeply thought out thing. But I think they have to be shown the other point of view, which is that I've thought about this, which is that the basis of all religion is kindness. Is kindness, it's compassion, it's giving the rights, which is, you know, human rights, which we talk about these days, and which is being we are exploring all the many dimensions of human rights. So I think if it is pointed out to them, this is how I would go about it. And it is also, you know, I have seen in my own circle of friends who were very antagonistic, and they said, no, my religion does not allow me to go with this, you know. And then when it's pointed out, but in your religion or in my religion, whatever religion, the primary thing is compassion, it is kindness, be good to others, make sure you are bringing change, some good change into the world around you, respect others. All these things, they can actually, then you realize that, of course, why are we kind of being cruel, so much cruelty? Why are we doing this cruel thing to people whom we may not have seen with exactly these eyes before? So I think that is the way, because no religion says that you must be cruel to others. Every religion says that God is merciful. God is all, however we call God. So I think this can be pointed out. All our religious books or all our religious beliefs, if you are wide enough, broad-minded enough to go not according to the narrow way of thinking of religious beliefs, but of the wider way, what the wise men, the prophets, what they meant was that you should embrace, you should welcome, you should help. We all have. It's, I mean, especially in India today, we have so many problems. We should all just hold each other's hands and see each other through this thorny path. So I think that is one way, according to me, of, you know, getting over this religious hurdle.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think. Did
Yeah.
you want to add more?
Um, uh, well, I yeah, maybe we'll come to it later. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. And I think you have really put it together so beautifully, because I was, when you were, saying all of this, what God probably wants, I was thinking we haven't completely figured out how God operates, anyways, isn't it? I mean,
Exactly.
we
Exactly.
don't
But
quite.
on the
Yeah.
yeah. But on the other hand, I also have compassion for people who are good people, but who go so much by received wisdom, you know, received
Right.
religious wisdom, that they cannot see beyond that. And so it is our duty, it is the duty of people who are a little bit aware to make them see the other point of view. I
What
think
do you
there
think?
should be compassion for them also. I mean, there's
Absolutely.
no point being angry. Anger never solved anything. So, yeah.
But making the other person understand probably would help.
Understanding, yes, perhaps
Yeah.
educating, actually seeing things, meeting people, and seeing that, I mean, we're all here together. We just have to
Right.
be
Right.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just heard a trans person saying this, that even if, as a person, if you have got really warm feelings about the transgender community, but if you are not, kind of saying anything when the transphobes are making harmful comments, then you are a part of the problem, because then you're not really doing anything about it. And I think that's what you're saying, that,
Yes,
is the
yes.
idea.
You
Yeah.
speak up. You must speak up. That you speak up against any kind of cruelty, any kind of negativity. And when you hear this being done, some years ago, you know, there was a lot of negativity about gays, and then we
Sure.
spoke up. Yeah, we spoke up. I'm talking of Assam, where everything comes a little later. And now nobody, at least before me, they don't. So when one speaks up, then at least in that little circle that surrounds you, you have brought around a little bit of change. That's all we can aspire to, some change. And I think another very good, very important vehicle is art. Art, as in music, as in writing, as in painting, whatever form of art. It is through art that stories can be told, that characters can tell their stories. What Abhishruti has done, that the story is narrated in such a way that there is empathy for the main character. So these are the ways, and these are the way. That is why, we must always speak up. That no, I mean, you cannot be this cruel. You cannot say these things, not in front of me anyway. And that is how I think slowly the awareness will spread, hopefully.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Really well said, Vidya. Janvi, I am going to come to you now. And so when I see you, you are empowered and you're privileged in the sense that you come from a family who have accepted you. Your sister was supportive. And then you're academically bright. You have a solid professional life as well. You have seen the world. So yeah, truly empowered. But you and I know that not everyone is, and especially in the transgender community, you would see because they don't have the support of their family, they don't have financial support, so they struggle, a lot of them. Do you have stories, real life stories of people struggling that you can share?
I I don't know personal stories, but I've heard of stories of
Okay.
people struggling, uh, economic struggle, professional struggle. Uh, but then they've got support from uh, different NGOs, and one such NGO is a very famous one in Delhi. It's called the Keshav Suri Foundation, and uh, it's it's a foundation started by a hotelier called Keshav Suri, the owner of the Lalit Group of Hotels. So, so that foundation actually helps a lot of marginalized trans people to help them in the process of transition. Not just financial but also emotional support uh, and all of that. So yeah, I mean, there are NGOs, at least in Delhi, I know a few that supports uh, marginalized people, marginalized trans people, support them, and and these are such people who do not get support from the family, right? Because
Right.
that's the primary part. Uh, that's what you need in the end of the day, emotional support and also financial support, because when you're a student, uh, you have to depend on your parents for the finances, and when you don't have that, then it's a struggle.
100%. So do you think, because NGOs are great, so what can be the solution? Do we need more NGOs to come up and help out people with maybe training, so they can get into jobs? What can be the
Yeah,
solution, do you think?
I think the only solution is education. I mean, no matter what you feel, no matter how you are personally, you may be gender dysphoric, you may be gay, you may be bisexual, you may be a lesbian, but then what plays a part in the world is education. If you're educated, you'll definitely get a job. And if
Mm,
you're not educated, then all the struggle begins. So I think the
that's
end,
such an Go ahead. Yeah. No, I think that's such an important point you have picked up is the education. Now, I wanted to quickly ask you, Janvi, also, how about the employment market? Did you feel that there is a bit more discrimination? Is it difficult to get jobs for a trans person?
I guess 10 years back it would, but not now.
Mm,
It has improved drastically. In
mm,
fact, now corporate groups, IT companies, different manufacturing companies, or services industry, manufacturing industry, different industries in the corporate world, they have a quota of 10 to 20% of LGBTQI people to hire. So
okay.
that's a mandate. So there are
Mm,
different groups in the company that has been opened. We call it, I mean, the group is called Diversion and Inclusivity,
right.
wherein they actually work towards employing LGBTQI people. So that's really good.
Yeah,
things that
that's really good. That's really so. Education is what you need to get to that level,
absolutely, yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
root is education. If you have education, then there are a lot of companies who are ready to welcome you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think I'll come to you more about asking about the rights and all, but of Hishruti. So Ore Raati has happened, and you have done so well with that. Uh, and so my question is, do you stop there, or are you planning to do more work on creating awareness around this subject? And now that you have started this process, um, I have no doubt in my mind that you will probably have more areas that you think needs attention, and you'll want to talk through your music. So, if yes, what are some of those areas that you think needs attention?
I would say this is just the beginning. And I was asked this question earlier as well, that do I have more plans of creating, such songs which carry a message. But yes, there are things that bother me while I'm a part of the society. Certain things do bother me. So I'm hoping that, through my music, I would be able to address them. And I would just urge everybody, that it's very important that we are who we are and we do not judge other people. So through my music, that's all I would always want to convey, that, we must respect one another. We must embrace each one as a human being. And I do have plans. A lot of, I am working on a road safety song, which I have been working for the past 2 years, but I'm taking a lot of time. I don't know why. I think Ore Raati was bound to happen in 2021. I I hate the way we drive. I hate the way how, we are not given our right of way when we are at a roundabout, or, when people are going in the opposite direction, when there is a U-turn ahead, but you want to take a shortcut. So these little things do bother me. So I am hoping to come up with a road safety song. And yeah, let's see. But of course, music is so wide and vast. Let's see what all I can do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea, because ultimately you putting yourself into an unsafe situation, isn't it, by doing that? It's
Yes.
yeah, yeah. That sounds good, and more power to you for all this work that you want to do, planning on doing. So yeah.
Thank you.
Um, so Mitra Baidu, for you, because Abhishruti has also spoken about um, public washroom issue. People have spoken about it. I think I need to unmute you actually. Let me do that first. Yeah. So yeah, and it is an issue with trans, community. And I have heard this many women saying that they actually have no problem otherwise, but their problem is that for those, they fear for those who can take undue advantage. Do you have a solution?
No,
What
it's
can
not
be
for me. It's not for me. It is a problem. It's not for me to give a solution. I understand both sides.
done?
Certainly, there's a question of washroom uh, allotment. You can say where it is a complex issue. And on the other hand, as you said, there are genuine fears also. It can definitely be misused, and people can take advantage of it for the more vulnerable things. So yes, I hope some, but I'm speaking from a perspective of India or Assam, where except for some large offices and so on, the question of washrooms, you go from here recently, 2 weeks ago, I was going from here to Western Assam. There was no washroom for me. There was no washroom. So I think when we finally get round, and in India, large parts of India, I mean, we hear about it. I mean, I'm going to a wider issue now. Women, even in the home, there's no toilet. They go in the mornings to the fields and they have to hold it till it's night again. And often they go in the early mornings. They are raped there. There are many cases. We keep reading about it. So this whole washroom issue is an extremely thorny one in our society in many dimensions. And I hope finally when we get around to making washrooms for easily available public washrooms. We don't have. They are filthy, the ones we can actually go to. So forget about gender, transgender, male, female, even they are unusable. So this entire washroom issue needs to be solved in a way that can be, it can actually help everybody, no matter what community they belong to, where they are coming from, whatever it is. It's a problem that affects all of us. So I'm only speaking, as I said, from the Indian perspective. Outside in the West and so on, where of course this is an issue, very much a pertinent issue. It's an issue here as well. So since we are still at the stage of making washrooms, wash for men, women, let us also have something that will help all categories of people, not just male, female, with that skirt and the trouser and all. Let there be something for everybody. That is my take. And I'm always very angry when I go somewhere and there's nothing for me. Forget. And of course, the one can go to the fields, but I'm very inhibited. I can't. So I think this is a problem for all of us, and I hope all of us on this panel will find a solution soon.
Oh, yeah. So what you're saying, it's much bigger problem actually than
Much
what we
bigger
started
problem.
at then
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, totally. And when you said that outside India, yes, when I talk about UK, it is a problem
Oh,
and it's been
US, yes,
discussed. Yeah.
yeah.
But what you have said again, that's the solution a lot of people talk about. But I think Janvi, I'd like her to add something to that. They say that probably unisex, separate, small mini bathrooms, like how it is in aeroplanes. It is for anybody and it's small. And that's how it should be. Like you said, a skirt and a trousers, we have moved on from that era now. So it needs to be unisex. Only trouble is because these institutions, they already have a setup of male female washroom. That means it's also investment. So I think that's where the trouble in all discussions lands there. But Janvi, do you have anything to add to this? How do you feel about it?
It's a very valid question. I think personally, I feel when I was transitioning, I had that confusion of I did not want to enter the male washroom at all. I always wanted to enter the female washroom because that's how I identify myself. Uh, but how I had overcome that problem was by actually dressing as a woman, starting to go out publicly, dressing up as a woman, and then entering a women's washroom. And that gives, I mean, not that people will look at you, because earlier, if I, in a men's attire, in a get up of a guy, I cannot enter a women's washroom, right? So I kind of flipped it, and I'm like, I have to live this life. So why not face the world, you know? And I mean, that's how I started. That's how I had overcome it. But then, yes, it was a challenge initially for the first few years at least when I was transitioning, when I neither looked like a man nor looked like a woman. The initial years, that was a struggle. And that's a struggle for every trans woman in the transition. But then
Yeah.
after that, but after you are publicly being seen as a woman, then I think the washroom issue is not there.
Okay. All right. So that's good to know. That's good to know. Now, is there anything, Janvi, that would you worry the most for your future? Is it your safety, security, employment, mental health, love life? Is there something that you worry the most for yourself?
Uh, I mean, as humans, we all do, right? We really don't know what the future has in store for us. So I think that way it's very standard in terms of the concerns I have for the future. Uh, but I think two things I'm really scared about is, as trans people, as a trans woman myself, I have uh, I have not been very lucky in love. Uh, I mean, I've moved on from relationships. I mean, I would not even call them a relationship because it was more of uh, friendship and infatuation. Uh, so I think I'm very worried about companionship in the long term. I mean, of course, I'm independent now, but then what next? What 10 years, what 15 years down the line?
Mm.
I don't I don't have a plan for it, but let's see. I mean, but I'm mentally very strong, so I think I can still be independent 10, 15 years down the line. But then, as human beings, you do need a companion for life. So I think that's the only concern. But otherwise, it's all
Sure,
good.
sure. So is it mostly you see in the community that finding love, relationship can be harder? Is it, have you
Yes,
felt
it
that too?
is.
It is. Okay.
I mean, it's maybe 5 out of 100 trans women will get a loyal partner, uh,
Mm,
or a partner who supports her,
mm,
from 1 to 10. And I have not been that lucky. I've always had guys. I mean, let me be honest. It's a public platform. I've always dated married men. So, and I think for married men, what happens is to date a trans woman is the easiest bet for them. Uh, they don't have to come out publicly that they are dating a trans woman, and in the end, also they are performing the duties towards their families, towards their wives, and all of that. Uh, I would not entertain such a relationship at all, and that's one reason why I'm single, because I've mostly associated with guys who has already been in a relationship, and I'm like the other woman, which I don't like to be.
wow. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you sharing all of this. That, yeah, I was going to ask you that what would make your life better? Um, that's a hard one, right? Because, yeah, otherwise fine. It's just about the love life. Have you thought what would make it easier for you to find love? Or is it a way weird question, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very hard hit.
Mm,
I think love happens naturally,
naturally.
and so, and to be honest, I wouldn't even call it love. I'm more into being friends, and like it's a companionship. So I would say, love and marriage is overrated for me. I don't believe in that.
Sure. Okay. Best wishes that you find the person you're looking for. Oh, really. Thank you for sharing that. Um, Abhishruti, so you're a classically trained singer. I think one of your gurus is also Pandit Rajan Sajan Mishra. You have been learning since you were 6 years old, I suppose, or maybe earlier. Um, and then you have sung Bihu. People have loved your Bihu, and I think um, your songs have got, you do experiment. It doesn't sound like any other song, and that's why I think people like your Bihu as well. And they have always said that you love to be able to sing songs from all different genres. So, if in that wide spectrum of classical to Bihu, now you're singing different kind of songs, is there a comfort zone, like home, that you keep coming back to, like a default zone? Is there a comfort zone like that?
Absolutely. That is my classical zone. I definitely come back to my classical ragas. And in the mornings when I do my riyaz with my tanpura or be it my swarmandal, the moment you are, practicing your ragas in the morning, that is the moment when you are at peace and you know that, this is your core. This is what you are. This is your foundation. And that actually brightens up my day a lot, the Indian classical music. Yes, Bihu has given me a lot of love from the people, not only in Assam, but from all over. I love to sing Bihu because I actually got the chance to experiment, with the sounds of the nature, with our ethnic instruments, and with electronic music, and try to fuse them together. So it was definitely an experience altogether. But I would any day come back to classical music. And I think Mitra Auntie would also agree to that, because even Mitra Auntie is a classical musician herself.
At one point, yes, yes, but I
No, no,
understand
Auntie.
completely. Yes, this question about peace, bringing peace, yes, and that's a base from which you can move on to other
Yes.
genres as well.
And Mitra
Yes.
Auntie always travels with her tanpura wherever she goes, because she does her riyaz.
Ah, I used to with the little
That
one, the electronic one.
The electronic tanpura,
wow.
you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh, wow, that's wonderful. This hasn't come as a surprise to me when you have said classical music, because I always felt that when you say that I want to sing all kinds of song, that confidence comes when your voice is so prepared that it can, make you do different things. And I just knew because her fundamental is so strong, and that must have come from classical. Whether it's piece, that's different, but also I think this strong foundation that must have come from classical. So I'm not surprised whatsoever. Yeah. How do you feel? Because people have shown so much love for your bihu.
yes.
How do you feel about singing a little bit of bihu? I mean, it's just a warm up for bihu, which is round the corner
Absolutely.
anyway,
In Assam
right?
here, I think it's the onset of spring, and we can hear the cuckoo, early in the morning nowadays. And
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by hills, so it's really beautiful to hear it actually, and just sing along with the cuckoo.
Wow.
Definitely. বিহুটো গাই সঁচাকৈ ভাল লাগে, and when it's Bohag is approaching, and this time hopefully we'll be able to step out of home versus the last
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Fingers
Um,
crossed. Hmm.
let's hum a couple from Ore Raati, which I think most
Yeah.
people know
Yeah.
and they really
Love it.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Hmm.
Um, এৰি গলে ৰপত নেলাগে মইনা মাত বেলি গলে নেলাগে ভাত বিহুতি গলে কি কৈনো থাকি মই জুৰিয়া আহতৰে চাত ৰৈ ৰতি মইনা মইনা মতি তোমালোকৰ ঘৰলৈ সদায় যাব পাৰো মই ৰৈ ৰতি অ মইনা মইনা মতি অ দিয়া যদি এষাৰ মৰমৰে মাত এৰি গলে ৰপত নেলাগে মইনা মাত বেলি গলে নেলাগে ভাত
Wow,
Very
beautiful.
nice,
Thank
very
That,
you.
nice.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you,
that's
Mira.
wonderful. That's wonderful. Beautiful. I just got a message from Janvi that she has to rush quickly. So, but we are coming to the end, Janvi. So, I have got one round of question to ask, and then we finished. So, Mitra Baidu, my question is that, and I would like Janvi to add to that as well. Now, a lot of people, they say that again, they have no problem with anything, very open minded, but they worry that what is right, what is wrong, what terminology to use, what will be offensive when I meet a person, a trans person. Would I say something that will offend that person? How can you make things a little easier for people?
Yes, actually, when we meet somebody who has transitioned, or in whatever way, somebody who we have not met, this kind of person, we are always very wary, and we don't want to offend. People do not want to offend, but the thing is, for most people, this is so new. This is something that this aspect is so new, and our vocabulary, our languages, we lack in these languages, as all of us know. This as it is, we need to have some kind of pronoun, he, she, him, her. We have to have some kind of pronoun which will express uh, different aspects of who we are. So that is one thing, and the other thing is, I feel, you one cannot see, all of us have so many different dimensions. When we meet somebody for the first time and we know that this person has transitioned, there's no need to ask that right at the beginning, because that person is also so many other things, professionally, or with interests in other things, sports, music, whatever. I think the way to get to actually know a person till the point when you can feel comfortable talking about much more intimate aspects of that person is to talk of something that you both have in commonality. That's what I
Right.
would, that is, yeah, that is what I actually do, because basically I will meet somebody because somebody is a writer maybe, and I know that person is, I was telling you, I was on a panel where the person next to me, she said that I'm gender fluid. So we talked of the books and so on till we got comfortable. She got comfortable, I got comfortable with her, then we talked of her gender identities. So I think that is the way to actually, because these are all new. One must
Sure.
realize that, especially in Assam, in India, these are all new things. This openness is not something that was there some time ago. It was certainly not there when I was growing up, and there were a lot of taboos. There are still many taboos about so many aspects of life here, of social society, all are so many taboos which
Right.
gradually one must break. So the question is, you push the envelope a bit, you push the envelope, and people who are experiencing it, who are living it, and people who are empathizing with this get together and just, so that we can all, basically, it is understanding. Language is just a
Exactly.
medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
And
understanding.
yeah, or educate yourself even if you want to know
Right,
more. Just
right.
educate. That's
Yeah,
Janavi would,
and can I add one more thing?
of course.
Yeah. So the other thing I would request is for people, transgenders, to understand us. That why are they saying this? Understand the intent. People want to be kind, but they may be using words which they don't intend to be offensive. They don't think it is offensive, but because of ignorance, they are. But it may come across as offensive. So the thing is to say, just say that, okay, the term is this, and not I think people, you also need to take us across in a gentle
Sure.
way, so, and take us across and educate us and make us more aware of these nuances, so that society, larger society, can understand, that this understanding can come to us.
Beautiful. No, thank you for that. Janvi, do you also agree to that? And what would make you offensive? What are those things that will make you offended?
And I totally agree with Mitra Aunty. I think,
Okay.
and especially the last thing you said, it's a relationship in the end of the day. It's a give and take. So uh, I totally agree. Personally, I don't get offended very quickly, uh, but then now in this state, as I look today, if someone refers to me as a he, I get offended.
Of course.
So using the right pronouns is necessary, and this happens a lot in my family. But family is something I am okay with because they've seen me as a he. So for them to change to a she, it will take time. So that's what they have told me that for us it's very difficult to right away change to a she pronoun. But with gradual course of time, I'm sure it will happen, but not immediately. But with the family, I'm okay. I'm sure it'll take time. And but it also doesn't happen with new people because new people, when they see me for the first time now, it definitely is a she and not a he. So
So that's a good thing. Now I know that January you got to go. Is there any final message you want to put out there?
I think a final message is, as I've always said on a public platform, that education is so necessary, even if you don't have family support. But at the same time, if you have education, then you'll be very happy and you can actually do a lot of things to your life that you always wanted to. So that's it.
Education, education, education. Yeah, fantastic, wonderful. Janvi, can I just say, I am so thankful, and you are here, and you spoke your heart out. You shared information. Not everybody would do that. It needs courage. So, I really so much appreciation for what you are doing, and you're empowering the world as well. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, take good care. I know I'll have to let you go because you have been busy. If you can stick around, please do. But
I
you
can
have
stick around for a couple of minutes and I'll
all
hop
right.
off. But
Perfect.
thank you for
Okay,
having
good.
me. Thanks a lot.
Not at all. Not at all. So, Abhishruti, I have got a very quick couple of questions before we wrap up. Um, are you working on anything new currently, like songs?
Actually, a lot of things are going on simultaneously, but hopefully, in the few months to come, I would be able to release something new. I am
Okay.
working on a track with Joy Porwada, and
Mhm.
I am working on another composition of mine. So let's see where I go after Ore Raati.
Lovely. Great. Best wishes for all of that.
Thank
What
you.
about what about Bharatnatyam? Do you get enough time to keep up with Bharatnatyam
Oh,
practice?
I think I performed Bharatnatyam last in the UK in 2005. when,
Really?
yes, at Assam Convention where I was
Oh yeah.
invited to sing. And Linu Bhatta, Dr. Mitra Phukan, he was like, you must dance. You must show this other side of you. So we carried our costumes and we did my hair on my own. We were in Yorkshire, I think. And that's the last time I think I danced, actually. So I haven't gone back to Bharatnatyam.
I
But
have a I have a suggestion for you. The new song, whatever you come up with, the
uh-huh.
video should have you and performing Bharatnatyam. That would be a treat, I suppose. Really, it would be.
Yeah, I think I did well. I did my Arangetram in 2003. And thanks to the dance that, I think I'm blessed with great posture. At least I sit straight. I don't
Mm,
slouch. So,
mm.
dance also contributes a lot to your, daily life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And final question: how would you like to be remembered as an artist, as a singer?
Oh my God, such a big question. Um, I would like to be remembered for the work that I have tried to do, and the kind of experiment that I try to do with when it comes with my bihus, and the little message-driven songs that I come up with. If it even impacts 0.0001% of the population, I'd be very, very overwhelmed. And yeah, definitely, I would love to be remembered by my work, my body of work.
Wow, yeah, that's phenomenal. You're already in that journey. People love what you have been doing. So, yeah, best wishes. And
Thank
Mitra,
you.
by the way, is there any final message you would like to put out there?
No, I'm not one to give messages, but yes, this has been very enriching. I loved sharing the thoughts, listening to all of you, and as I keep repeating everywhere, kindness is everything. Kindness is everything for all of us. We should all try to be. Yeah, I go by this Christian thing, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So I think we should follow this motto, and no matter what differences we may see all around us, as long as somebody difference does not really matter, unless if that person is not really hurting anybody else. So many of these hurts are of our own creation. We create our own hurts in many ways. I think we should let that be, and embrace what people are and take them at what they are. So that would be not a message, but a kind of hope.
Hope.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be hope.
And
Yes.
that's what we wanted to discuss today. And hopefully that's what has come across, that, embrace people for who they are. And can I just say that thank you to all of you. Because of time, we'll have to wrap up here. But I appreciate it so much for taking out time and discussing a subject like this, which is not easy, because I know that you all have done work around this field and you have shared your honest opinion, and Janvi also all her personal experience. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, keep well, take good care, and I'll have to say goodbye to all of you now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
All
Bye.
much.
right, goodbye. Okay. So that's the end of today's show. I think from today's show, if one thing takeaway is that every trans person, they need something vital. They deserve something vital. They deserve respect. And that creates a society which is compassionate, which is of empathy, and that creates a better world, a world that that we want to build for ourselves and our children. With that, thank you for watching today's show. Thank you to the Sentinel as well. Keep well, to look after yourself, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.